Crypto holders should stay cautious because right now more risk is being added to the crypto markets as Bitcoin and altcoin prices remain in a key decision-making zone. Whether the prices rip hard to the upside or dump towards the downside remains in the balance right now. But one thing is looking increasingly likely. A big move is on the horizon. That said, while charts are looking a little bit shaky right now, more liquidity is arriving in the crypto market harder and faster than we have seen since the end of every bearish period over the past few years. And some clear patterns are emerging about where we're most likely to head next. I'm going to tell you all about that in this video, so just hit the like button and let's get into it. Now guys, before I tell you about some of the small short-term concerns I have for crypto prices, but also about some of the huge patterns that we're seeing that typically have led to massive rallies in the past, let's quickly dive in and check out what's going on the Bitcoin chart. Now guys, as you can see, the Bitcoin price has been pushing up over the past few months. This is a 2-week chart, and you can see that Bitcoin bottomed around $59,800 just a few months ago and is right now pushing into this key zone of resistance between $77,000 and $79,000. And this is such a significant area because if we're going to push lower, it's going to give the bears full volume to be talking about sell in May and all of that good stuff. But if it breaks higher, there's a very good chance that the sentiment across the market is going to begin to flip more bullish. And I actually think that it's already happening right now, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now this, as you look at it on the chart, is clearly an area of interest. Back in early 2025, around when the tariff announcements came, we saw price dip into this zone before ripping back out of it. Now, right now, you can see that previous support has now flipped into resistance and is stopping price for the time being from being able to break higher. But I think how we're reacting to this price zone right now is incredibly key to understand whether the break lower is most likely to happen or whether we're going to push higher and push higher quite substantially in a very short space of time. And in order to do that, I just want to quickly talk about supply and demand zones. Now, if you've been in trading or you've been around the crypto markets for a while, you probably know what these are, and you probably identified what I'm going to talk about here. Now, in order to do this, let's just have a quick look at a previous example. Now, when markets are moving higher, you have areas where the price stalls for a few days before ripping higher. Now, what happens in those few days is you see a lot of people loading up on crypto in order to make the most of the next move. And on the way up for Bitcoin, you can see this happen a few different times. There's 3 relevant zones for us to look at here. Now you see this one down here, price goes sideways, kind of dips down, eventually suddenly rips out of that zone. It then plays around in this zone for a while, it then rips out of that zone. When there's no sellers left and the buyers have been buying up all the Bitcoin, price will move higher. You get these across Forex, you get these across gold, you get these in every market. Okay, people are prepared to pay $100 for something, and if price goes up, they will wait for it to come back down to $100, they'll buy it again, and you get the picture. It typically means that we see bounces in key zones. Now, as you see, when we see sideways prices like this, you can eventually find a buy zone. Now, jumping across, you can see how price reacts when it returns to the buy zone. Here you see back in early 2025, price dips in and around this zone, rips back out of it very aggressively, dips deeper in, and then rips very strongly. It's very important to see how strongly this rips out of that key zone because it shows you just how much intent there is to push price higher by the buyers. Now, if you look at this key zone here and you draw across, you can see that we have been interacting with that zone quite a lot over the past few months. If you go lower to this one, you can see that on the 6th of February, when Bitcoin hit that bottom at around $60,000, price ripped back out of there, and it did it with an $11,000 candle back higher. What does that tell you? It tells you that when price pushed down in here, despite aggressive selling, buyers stepped in very, very strongly. And notice we didn't return back to that zone. In fact, we then bounced up and then started to accumulate in the zone above it. Now, do me a favor, pay attention to the size of that green candle, okay, and what basically happened after it. Because whilst you get buy zones for the upside, you also get sell zones for the downside. Remember, people want to sell large amounts throughout this period of time, and if they can't sell at the price they want to sell, they'll wait for price to return to it before selling any more. And if we draw across the relevant sell zones for us here, we got one there, we've got one that will happen somewhere up here, and obviously we will likely see resistance coming in for crypto whenever we return up to these levels. Now, right now, you can see this is a very interesting zone for us. In fact, this zone probably extends a little bit down because obviously you have the candles chopping in and around here. You see these kind of wicks to the bottom, 75k or whatever it was, up to 78,000. Now, as you can see, when Bitcoin first returned up into this zone, all the way back on March the 17th, it got rejected pretty hard and fast. Okay, bigger red candles, telling you that the buyers were not able to push price higher, sellers had stepped in, and they'd stepped in pretty hard, pushing price down. You then see price come back up, gets rejected here. They couldn't push it down that time, so it pushes deeper into that zone. Eventually, it gets rejected. And now it climbs in, it gets more rejection. But right now, look at the rejection. Look at the size of the candles and the momentum that we're seeing here. Remember, this is a momentum changing candle here, an absolute monster. This up here is not really showing any signs that momentum wants to change, at least in the short term. And if it continues to be that way and you continue to see less and less sellers, more and more buyers continue to enter, eventually you can see price pushing higher. And as you can see, there's a fairly good gap between this particular area and the next one. So if we were to breach this zone, a push towards $83,000, $84,000 or more is more than likely. But as I said in the introduction, there is something to be a little bit cautious about right now, even though the thing to be cautious about does tell you that the sentiment is shifting in the market. So it has sort of a double-edged sword thing going on. But before I tell you about that, make sure you go and check out Yubit, which is linked down below, because you can deposit $100 and get a free $100, basically some free money to go and trade the markets with. The cool thing about Yubit is not only can you trade crypto, but you can also trade things like oil, gold, silver, stocks, which are obviously going absolutely crazy right now, all from one convenient place. So make sure you sign up through the link down below if you want to make the most of that particular bonus. It's not available anywhere else. Now guys, here is where I have a tiny bit of caution. And I talked about this the other day on the channel, because Bitcoin funding rates were deeply negative. Now, funding rates are effectively all to do with leverage. Simply, they show you where the leverage traders are sat in the market. During periods where it's green, it tells you that everybody is going into massive long positions. During periods where it's red, it tells you that everyone's entering into massive short positions. This is very important, because if you have massive green candles towards the upside telling you that everyone's leveraged long, if price does drop because of spot selling, it will cause massive liquidations. This is what we saw back in January of this year that caused that huge capitulation event when Bitcoin fell from like 99k all the way down to 60k in the space of a few days. But most interestingly, while everyone was incredibly bullish up here, very, very bullish up here, everyone suddenly flipped bearish down here. Typically is the way, right? Everyone starts to panic, starts to sell the bottom, thinks it's going to go lower, starts to put in shorts to try and recapture some of the money that they lost from their long positions up here through revenge trading, and then obviously price then moves back in the other direction. So what do we make of this? Well, it was good over the past few months that we had all of this red, and it was one of the main indicators that told me that the bottom was probably in around $59,000 to $60,000, and we weren't going to head lower anytime in the short term, especially with all of the bears stepping in to try and short the market. And as price has gone higher, we've seen more bears doubling down on this, giving more fuel for a potential big move towards the upside. However, all of a sudden in the last couple of days, as Bitcoin has returned to the sort of $78,000, $79,000 level, you can see that we have suddenly got this little bit of green showing here. Now, this at the moment remains a little bit of caution. It tells us that if price was to push down hard because of some negative news, some big spot selling, whatever, it could cause some liquidations on the long leverage side. And that could push price a little bit harder down than many people might expect. Maybe you might see low 70s, maybe even high $60,000 for Bitcoin. Let's see. But right now, I remain only a minor bit cautious because no one's really jumping in particularly heavy into these longs. If we do see a push much higher, quickly coming, I do think that you're going to see a lot of leverage long stepping in. But this is very interesting, right? We're seeing this flip green for the first time in a long time. So what does that tell you? It tells you that lots of these shorts have either been liquidated or a lot of these bears are starting to get cold feet and pull out of their shorts. That tells you that the sentiment in the market is slowly shifting. Some of the bears out there are beginning to doubt this 4-year cycle theory that's been ever so popular over the past month or so. So yeah, just keep your eye on this. If it suddenly starts to shoot really big and green, be cautious, okay? But I do think in the short term, this isn't anything to be too concerned about, just a little bit cautious. And here's why I'm not that fussed. You see this? This is the USDT market cap, stablecoin. What does it tell us? Well, it tells us some key things. Basically, most of the time, this thing goes up, right? Because people are adding more and more money to crypto all the time. And they typically do it through USDT first before ever putting money into Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. People are also earning yield. So as crypto gains more confidence from people, from institutions, this will continue to rise. However, you will also notice that there are key points in which this goes negative, where it pretty much just goes straight down until eventually it goes back up again. The last time we saw a major downshift was around April 2022, and that lasted all the way until kind of this point here, 21st of November 2022. Now, what happened then? That was the FTX crash, the week after the FTX crash. This bottomed when the FTX crash bottomed. Okay, we saw price rip down, goes kind of sideways, has a little tiny push, rips down, and then you see big continuation. This basically started because QE ended and we entered into QT, quantitative tightening, which is very different to what we're seeing right now because we've seen money printing with the United States Federal Reserve pumping $5 to $6 billion per week into their balance sheet. Now, if you go back over time, you can see this was the end of December 2024, just before Donald Trump took office. You had about a month of red, rips towards the upside. More recently, obviously we had lots of fear going on about what's going on with the Iran war, etc., and that caused a bit of a sell-off. But look what's happened over the past couple of weeks, an absolute rip back towards all-time highs. Now, it's worth pointing out that in the 2022 kind of bear market period, we did of course have this little bit of upside, but nothing particularly dramatic was showing up here. Now, I believe that if we see Bitcoin and altcoins going sideways for a bit more, but this continuing to rally towards the upside, this is a very, very bullish signal because it tells you that the market is adding liquidity that is ready to enter into the market when the time is right. But it's a midterm year, the 4-year cycle. Why would there be more liquidity entering into the crypto markets? Well, because of this. If you look back, this was caused by quantitative tightening, right? This is caused by move towards quantitative easing. Okay, this was uncertainty to do with oil prices, stuff like that, despite the fact that the oil price right now continues to push higher and higher and there is fear across the markets. You're seeing more liquidity entering into crypto and global markets. The S&P 500, the US stock market, is at all-time highs at the time of making this video. And in my opinion, while it's been getting a little bit out of control, I do think that this is going to continue to rally at least a fair bit higher before seeing any significant correction because it's being driven by the liquidity that's entering into the system. The Russell 2000, the small cap stocks like the small cap altcoins have been rallying to all-time high. And more importantly, the small cap stocks versus the SPX, the large cap stocks, are starting to run. This is like altcoin season for stocks beginning right here. And copper versus gold. Everyone keeps talking about the economy. Is the economy going to break? This tells you that no one thinks it's going to break right now because everyone's been buying into copper while gold has been selling off. You buy gold when you think that there's stress in the markets and that things are going to get a bit risky. You buy copper when you think that there's going to be a massive boom in manufacturing, in house building, in all of those other things. Right now, this is starting to boom because manufacturing is going up. Why would manufacturing be going up if you think that the world is going to have less money? You think the world's going to have more money soon because of money printing, and you think businesses are going to have more money to invest. Therefore, you start to build more stuff in preparation for that. Copper has been going up straight versus gold on a 2-week chart for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 weeks. Okay, each candle being 2 weeks, bounced 10 weeks. Each and every one of these green boxes, by the way, was also when we saw the others, which is the altcoins, outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, these all coincide with liquidity increases. This is what we're seeing here. Notice the blank space between these green boxes and how long it lasts. This was a far shorter cycle. This was a far shorter cycle. This cycle has been much longer. This is why this led to 4-year cycles, and this is why this could well be running longer than 4 years. And I think it is. And just one more chart for good luck. Look at the Bitcoin Volatility Index. Right now, you can see that every time it's bounced off this, we have seen the end of a major correction period. This was Japan carry trade, August in the summer of 2024, Trump tariff announcements, March 2025, Iran war, bouncing incredibly strongly and is likely to start looking to break beyond here. This is probably what we're going to see, and this is what the next bear market will look like. And look at this, market cap change versus Bitcoin price. Purple being the market cap change in USDT, and the white line being the Bitcoin price. Notice how after every dip towards the downside, this was the FTX crash, you have a massive swing towards the downside for USDT market cap. You then see market cap swing towards the upside, then it goes and swings towards the downside, breaking below the kind of zero level. This then rips towards the upside. This trends sideways and down, hits these lows, rips towards the upside. You can see that Bitcoin goes whenever this is ripping as well. Okay, this is people taking profits from Bitcoin, putting it into USDT, selling that off. Eventually, the price of Bitcoin falls. Then you see this rally again. Now look, we swung all the way down here. Okay, this is bigger pretty much than the sell-off that you saw after the FTX crash. Now, it doesn't look like it on a chart because that's based off of market cap, but during that period of time, percentage-wise, the move down for USDT market cap was much bigger than it's been recently. Right now, we are ripping back towards the upside. This is typically very bullish for us. It looks good as far as this data, this information is showing me. And another key thing to look at, this chart comes from Check and Chain, which you can see me using quite a lot because it's pretty useful. Supply held in profit and loss by cohort. Now, you can see the pink one is short-term holders in loss, who typically spend a lot of time in loss because they typically tend to buy near the highs. They don't want to buy near the lows. And the long-term holders also being in loss. Now, these big spikes in short-term holders being in loss and big spikes in blue long-term holders being in loss, you see happen at every major key low that there has been over the last few years. This is back into 2014. Right now, you can see that right now the short-term holders are in massive loss on Bitcoin. This is a typical time when you start to see more and more accumulation. People are in loss, they continue to double down and DCA into their positions. They're not willing to sell because they don't want to sell at a loss because of sunk cost fallacy and other psychological phenomena, etc. So, short-term thesis, in my opinion, is that we're probably going to be moving higher at some point here. However, I just believe that this is clearly a bottoming zone. I believe that that was the lowest I think that Bitcoin's going to go. But there's always a chance that we spend more time messing around in here, consolidating a bit more before we can push higher. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. Prices have been low here. I've been buying up, happy to buy at this level because I think that the downside risk versus the upside potential is far stacked in the favor, given all of the different aspects that are backing up this being a continuation of a bigger cycle. Everything out there is pointing me towards that. And another thing I'm seeing, just for fun here, and I think is quite interesting, is what's happening over in the NFT market. Now, mentioning NFTs on YouTube right now is even dirtier than talking about altcoin season, but it's important to pay attention to, in my opinion, because if you think back to last year, when we saw the market starting to warm up, we actually saw the NFT market warming up before that. Now, who knows about NFTs? People who were around in the last bull market, people who were kind of OGs in the last bull market, people who were deep into crypto. Who would be buying into NFTs right now? Probably not people who've entered into the cycle over the past few years, people who've entered in before. And most people who don't want to be buying crypto right now definitely don't want to be buying NFTs. So it's telling you that a lot of OGs are starting to buy into the NFT market. And these are priced in Ethereum. And as you can see, over the last 30 days, the last month, Bored Ape Yacht Club has risen 120%, currently being worth nearly $26,000. CryptoPunks remains a little lower, $70,000, but up nearly 7%. Pudgy Penguins is up 40%, currently valued at $12,000. Mutant Ape Yacht Club is up 159%, which is $4,300. Now, these numbers are actually skewed because actually they're valued in Ethereum. And since the start of April, the price of Ethereum is currently up 17-18%. So you can multiply these numbers by another 17-18%, and then you're starting to see that there is a lot of growth going on here. Azuki up 90%, Little Pudgies 38%, Miladies, etc. Now, whether you want to buy NFTs or not, or crypto or not, I don't really care. Okay, I'm just paying attention to what's going on. NFTs come with much bigger risks than buying into crypto because when price comes down, it can come down much faster. It's also like having leverage on Ethereum. If you believe in Ethereum going up, then these will go up far harder than just Ethereum if Ethereum goes up. Because if Ethereum goes up 4x, these can also go up 3 or 4x in value. That's like a 16x in the value of ETH going up, in that the value is multiplied. And all of these at the top are all of the OGs, okay? Hyper is a Hyperliquid one, it's a newer one. These are all the Ethereum NFT OGs. These are the only ones, in my opinion, worth buying at the moment if you were to go and buy them. Don't go and buy random ones. Go and study a little bit about what NFTs were the biggest trending ones, the biggest cult-like followings in the last bull market. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below, whatever it is, I don't care. Tell me what you think about NFTs. Would you spend $70,000 on a CryptoPunk? Or $25,000 on a picture of an ape? And if you haven't already, smash the thumbs up button, and I will see you at some point over the next few days. Have a great weekend. See you soon. Bye-bye.